I went to ride every Washington State ferry in my first year living in Seattle. I've ridden a handful of the fleet's 21 ferries so far, but today I decided to start over and start documenting it so that I can share this journey with 60,000 of my best friends. Our first ferry, an Issaquah-class vessel built in Seattle in 1980, is the Kitsap. The Kitsap is rated to carry 1,196 passengers and 124 vehicles in 2 car decks and 1 passenger deck. As we boarded the ferry and crossed the Pickle Fork, hang on, I should tell you, on Washington State ferries, the 2-pronged area where passengers board and disembark the vessel, and where they can roam freely during the journey and go sightseeing and watch Puget Sound go by, those are called the Pickle Fork, because they kind of look like a pickle fork. Moving on. As I crossed the Pickle Fork, I was greeted by my new favorite outdoor passenger lounge, which featured wooden benches and panoramic amber windows, which is where I ended up enjoying most of the journey. Stepping inside the passenger deck was like stepping out of a time machine into 1992, which is the year the Kitsap was rebuilt. Faux wood paneling on the walls and shades of blue, beige, and green everywhere else somehow instantly reset my nervous system. The Kitsap was rebuilt the same decade I was born, a time when the world wasn't afraid yet. Everything was tacky, yes, and I think we even knew that at the time. But it was fun, and it was the final moments before social media stole the joy from cringe, before the race to modernity and conformity and millennial gray and everything doing its best to look like it came from a Target. The Kitsap has corner nooks for reading, a spacious cafeteria, a well-equipped and fully stocked galley, and the most enjoyable outdoor lounge I've yet been to on a ferry. It's almost embarrassing on the Kitsap to stare at your phone. More than the other ferries I've ridden so far, the Kitsap begs you to enjoy the journey and just for a moment, forget about the destination. And that brings me to the passenger lounge. I sat on the wooden bench and was overcome with a feeling I never expected to have on a boat. It was a fairly windy day, and as that wind buffeted through the ferry's superstructure and rocked us gently back and forth, I looked up at the amber-tinted windows on the ceiling and wished, of all things, that it would rain. And in that way, the Kitsap embodies everything that called me to the Pacific Northwest in the first place. In the busy race to the bottom we experience day in and day out, there is a place in our country where if you listen, you can hear the universe telling you to slow down, to enjoy the pitter-patter of the rain, and just read a book. I found myself wishing that instead of speeding to our destination, that maybe, just for fun, we could take the long way somewhere unexpected. Maybe, if we're lucky, we could even go get lost. As luck would have it, this was the first day that Washington State Ferries started selling what is perhaps the most coveted, sought-after Seattle merch in 2026. That's right, they're selling the ferry on the ferries. And this one is even better because instead of the Mariners logo, it just has the Sound Transit logo. You best believe I snapped that up the moment I saw it. I found the Kitsap had fairly little vibration for a ferry of its size, and although the choppy sea did set off a few car alarms, it was generally a smooth and delightful journey. And, of course, it is essential that I assess how windy it is while riding on the Pickle Fork.
It's windy.
I took the Kitsap both ways to visit a friend in Bremerton, which was fitting because the Kitsap was originally built to service the Seattle-Bremerton route. It was eventually replaced by larger ferries and moved to less traveled routes, but today it was back on its way to Bremerton. It was like it was coming home. And in a completely unexpected way, in my time aboard the Kitsap, I felt like I was coming home too. Nostalgia is the perfect word for this because the root of the word is in the Greek nostos algos, which translates roughly to a painful return home. It's why the feeling is so bittersweet. You're happy to return home, and yet returning home reminds you that it won't last forever. And in that way, yeah, the Kitsap was nostalgia. It felt like home for an hour, but no matter who you are or how much you're enjoying the ride, everyone has to get off the ferry when it gets to where it's going. 1 ferry down, 20 to go. This is not my usual video format, so please let me know if you enjoyed it, or more likely, if you think it's too dorky. What ferry would you like to see next?